I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome to Matter of Fact. The number of people dying from asbestos-related disease is on the rise in the United States. Between 1999 and 2015, the Centers for Disease Control estimates that more than 45,000 Americans died from the most common type of asbestos-caused cancer, mesothelioma. Once considered a magic mineral, asbestos was widely used in building materials from the 1940s to the 1970s. Then, doctors discovered that its small needle-like fibers could penetrate deep into the lungs and cause cancer. Since the 1970s, the federal government has severely restricted the use of asbestos. Now, the EPA is considering changing the rules to allow companies to introduce new uses for asbestos. Heather Von St. James was 36 when she was diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. And Mary Hestorfer is a nurse practitioner and director of the Mesothelioma Research Foundation. It's nice to have you both with us.
Thank you.
So, Mary, can I start with you? Explain what the move by the EPA specifically is doing.
This allows a loophole. This allows new uses of asbestos. And whenever you create a loophole, you know that there's going to be more things sneaking in underneath and behind it. It's very concerning for all of us to think that asbestos, which should be banned, which is banned in more than 60 countries, has not been banned in the United States.
So, Heather, one of the most surprising things I read about your disease is that you didn't get mesothelioma from direct exposure. You weren't working on a construction site. You weren't working in a coal mine. You got it from your dad's clothing. Can you explain that?
My dad was a construction worker when I was growing up. He did the cleanup after they put the drywall on. He mixed the drywall, the mud, and he did the sanding, and all of that was laden with asbestos. At the time, it was in the 70s. And he would come home with a jacket crusted with this dust. And I would wear this jacket when I would go feed my rabbits, when I would do chores outside. It always hung on the doorknob in our utility room, so I would just grab it and put it on. And his car was full of it, and anytime I'd go anywhere with my dad, I was exposed to asbestos that way. Secondhand exposure.
The U.S. has restricted the use of asbestos for a long time. The EPA in 1973 had the Clean Air Act, 1989 the asbestos ban and phase out rule, all going in the direction that you mentioned. Every year, 40,000 people still die from asbestos-related diseases. Why?
Well, because asbestos, we talk about the legacy. Asbestos is in more than 20% of the homes built in the United States. So think of all the citizens that are being exposed at home. A colleague of mine lives in the Carolinas, and she saw that she had a popcorn ceiling in her house. And working for the foundation, she knows about the asbestos risks. She had her ceiling tested, definitely for asbestos. Now she's on like a neighborhood site, and you see people writing, will somebody come in and paint my ceiling? I want to scrape down this popcorn ceiling. So, these things happen daily.
Why is it not enough that all the currently banned uses of asbestos will remain banned?
Because there's always a new use. I mean, there's always a new way of utilizing this compound.
And what would be the EPA's incentive to do this, do you think?
I think it's a loosening of regulations on many of these industries that we had control over. I think, we're so focused right now on the monetary value of what we might bring into the workforce that we're forgetting about the health of that workforce.
You hear a lot about mesothelioma on every late night commercial, advertising for lawyers. So I was really surprised that it's an orphan disease, Heather. I would have thought that it was far more prevalent and had so much more money poured into research around it.
I was surprised when I was diagnosed. My doctor had no previous experience with it. So the fact that it was so rare shocked me. And in getting involved with the disease and doing advocacy, finding out so little goes into research. That's why the MESA Foundation is so important, because it does funnel money back into research that's direly needed.
How long has it been since you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2005, just 3.5 months after the birth of my only daughter.
Most people do not survive very long with mesothelioma.
Most people die within 18 months. I guess the median being 12.5 with chemotherapy, 2 years with surgery. I'm one of the lucky ones. That's all I can say.
it must be bizarre to hear about this coming back, asbestos sort of by, and embraced by the EPA.
It's infuriating, to say the least. When I heard the news that they were actually considering new uses and allowing new uses, it brought back all of the memories of that time when I was diagnosed, all of that rage, the feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. And as I talked to other members of the mesothelioma community, they were just incensed at the news as well. Like, how could this happen? Don't they know the suffering that's been involved? Since the beginning of the year, 13 people I know have died. And so to bring back something that kills these people in such a horrible, horrible way, to me, is just unconscionable. And I can't believe they're even thinking about it.
Heather von St. James and Mary Hessdorfer, thank you for talking with us about this disease and what's happening at the EPA. Appreciate it.
Thank you.